Features of one who trusts in Allah. One who places trust in Allah can be recognized by distinguishing features. He does not ask, he does not turn anything away when given. He does not hold on to what was given to him. The best state of one who trusts is to be before Almighty Allah exactly as a dead body is before the corpse washer. Because you see, the deceased makes no movement, nor has a will of its own. Cease planning and completely trust in the choice of Allah. You know that Almighty Allah was for you earlier than you yourself were for your nafs, just as Allah was for you before your creation, so He will be for you after your death. You should elevate people from troubles. This is a criterion of murids and perfected people. Just as material bodies are weighed, so the spiritual states and qualities of people are weighed and evaluated. Do not worry about the means of existence. Almighty Allah was for you even before your birth. So how could He forget you after you were born? Do not trouble by doing for yourself what others have done on your behalf. Bishr al-Khafi said, "Some lie saying that they trust in Allah. If they trusted in Allah, they would be contented with whatever He does with them." Using reasons does not contradict trust. Know that trust in God is the spiritual state of the Prophet ﷺ, and earning a means of existence by his labor is his path, Sunnah. Whoever adheres to this state will never abandon his Sunnah. Whoever condemns activity in earning a livelihood condemns the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. One who criticizes trust in God criticizes faith, Iman. Know that the locus of trust in God is the heart. Outward action does not preclude trust in God in the heart. Narrated from the companion Anas ibn Malik, a man came riding his camel to the Prophet ﷺ and asked, "O Messenger of Allah, should I leave my camel untied and trust in Allah?" The Prophet ﷺ replied, "Tie up your camel and trust in Allah." Ibrahim al-Khawas was one of the people who put their trust in God. Nevertheless, he would never be without thread, a needle, scissors, and a small vessel for ablutions. He used to say, if you see a murid without a vessel for ablutions, thread and needle, then you should worry about the completeness of his prayer. Trust in God does not imply disregarding causations and neglecting prudency in matters. Rather, a wise person should focus on matters by being vigilant about them and seek the means and reasons that people usually employ to accomplish their objectives. Proceeding from that said above, trust is one of the necessities of faith. Therefore, if trust is absent, then faith is also absent. This is because faith is monotheism, and whoever relies on other than God does not solidify his faith in oneness in reality, even if he asserts it with the tongue. By trust, it is not intended the disregarding of causes and relying on what comes from creatures. The remedy that leads a person to trust in God is zeal in 5 things. The first is the realization that Almighty Allah is aware of your condition. The second is the conviction of the totality of the power of the Almighty. The third is the conviction that Almighty is pure of forgetfulness and omission. The fourth is the realization that He is free from breaking a promise. And the fifth is the conviction that the Creator is the most generous and that He gives us everything we need without our requesting it. Golden words about trust. Many statements have been narrated clarifying the essence of trust. First, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Whoever wants to be the strongest of people, let him put his trust in Allah." Second, Yahya ibn Mu'adh was asked, "When is a man trusting in Allah?" He replied, when he is contented with Almighty Allah as his guardian. Third, when Ibn Ata'illah was asked about the essence of trust in God, he replied, it is that an anxious desire for things of the world should not appear in you, despite the severity of your need for them, and that you should always remain truly content with God, despite your dependence on those things. Asbab. Fourth, Abu Khatim al-Sijistani observed, the condition of trust in God is what Abu Turab al-Nakhshabi has noted, casting down the body in worship, attaching the heart to lordship, and being serene as to the matter of sufficiency. If something is given, he is thankful, and if it's withheld, he is patient. Fifth, Dhunnun al-Misri said, trust in God is abandoning the stratagems of the nafs and stripping off reliance on one's own power and strength. For the servant is only capable of trust in God when he knows that Almighty Allah knows and sees all of his states. Sixth, it was also said, trust in God is restricting concern for livelihood to one day and refraining from aspirations for the morrow. Seventh, Sahal ibn Abdullah said, trust in God is abandoning oneself to God in whatever he wishes. Eighth, it was also said, trusting in Allah tawakkul is a quality of believers. Surrender, taslim, is a quality of Allah's beloved servants, awliya, and assigning one's affairs to Allah, tafwiz, is the quality of those who assert His unity. Therefore, trust in God is the quality of common people, surrender is the quality of the elite, and assigning one's affairs to Allah is the quality of the elite of the elite. Ninth, Dhunnun al-Misri noted, trust in God is disposing all masters other than God and cutting one's attachment to all causes other than God. And when a questioner asked further in this regard, the scholar continued, it is casting the nafs into servitude to God and ridding it of any pretension to lordship. Tenth, when Abu Abdullah al-Qurshi was asked about trust in God, he replied, it is being attached to God in every state. 11th, when a scholar was asked what trust was, he replied, taking your provisions from Almighty Allah. 12th, it is also said, one who puts his trust in God goes through 3 stages, trust in God, tawakkul, self-surrender to God, taslim, and relegating one's affairs to God, tafwiz. One who trusts in God finds serenity in the promise of the Almighty. 13th, it is said, one who surrenders himself to God, taslim, is content with his knowledge of God, and one who relegates his affairs to God, tafwiz, is satisfied with his degree. 14th, Abu Darda said, the pinnacle of faith, iman, is sincerity, trust in God and complete obedience to the Lord, Almighty and Great. 15th, one of these scholars said, when Almighty Allah presents you with a choice in something, then be fearful of choosing it yourself. Flee from your own choice to the choice of the Lord, for you see, you do not know what the outcome of the matter will be. 16th, in the Torah is written, doomed is he who relies on a person like himself rather than putting his trust in God. 17th, scholars said, for someone who relies on Allah and resorts to Him for assistance, the Lord will devise it so that people will need Him and will put wisdom in His mouth. 18th, Abu Yazid was asked, what is trust in God? He replied, and what do you say about it? His questioner explained, our companions say that trust is even if beasts of prey and poisonous snakes were on your right and left, your innermost being would not waver on their account. Then Abu Yazid continued, yes, this is a definition close to the truth. However, if you were to observe the inhabitants of paradise enjoying its blessings, and the inhabitants of hell being tormented by its fire, and then it occurred to you to prefer one to the other, you would leave the realm of trust in God. 19th, Abu Bakr al-Warraq said, if they asked of greed, who is its parent, it would answer that it is doubt in destiny predetermined by Allah. If they asked it what its craft was, it would answer acquiring humiliation. If they asked it what its goal was, it would answer deprivation. 20th, Sheikh al-Shadhali said, if a person lacks at least one of these 5 qualities, he does not possess true faith. Surrender to Allah's commands, contentment with His decree, relegating all his affairs to the Creator, trust in the Lord, and manifesting patience at the very inkling of impending misfortune. 21st, they said, cease hoping for what may be in cities and put your trust in Allah instead.